Okay, so I think we can get started. Are you ready? Because I'm ready.
I'm ready. I'm as ready as I can be. I guess.
Okay, okay. So, hello everyone, and welcome to today's edition of the Melsoft Academy Student Spotlight. I'm your host, Nokolo Mushakwana, and I'm so thrilled to have you guys today. So, basically, for those of you who are new to the Student Spotlight, it is a series by Melsoft Academy where they get to shine a spotlight on their brilliant students. And today I am joined by a talented young innovator. Emmanuel, thank you so much for being part of today's
Thank
episode.
you for having me. I I appreciate it. I feel honored.
You're welcome. So, thank you. Me too, actually. Me too. So, for those of you who don't know Emmanuel, Emmanuel is a software engineering student right here at Melsoft Academy. And not just that, I think this is my favorite part. You are actually the brain behind an app called the Hairline
Yeah,
app.
yeah.
So, so this is basically a salon booking app, right? And I believe that this is a platform that is going to shake up the beauty industry.
100.
So let's get right into it. I want to know, out of all the courses that you would have chosen or industries that you would have chosen to be with, why did you choose software engineering?
Um. Okay. I mean, we're living in a day. We're living in the age of technology. And everything is kind of going from physical to digital, right? We're living in a digital era. And I think it'll be you'll definitely get left behind if you don't learn the necessary tech skills to move on with the world. And I genuinely see a lot of jobs being replaced in the near future, right? That's a conversation that Melsoft will have another next week, I believe. But uh, the world is advancing, and if you don't advance with it, you'll be left behind. And if you get left behind, then yeah, the, yeah, it's just a challenge. So I think it's just a very necessary skill to have in general, but also personally for me, I'm a creative guy. I have ideas and I love what my real passion is just bringing ideas to life. And I feel like learning how to develop it's just a tool. It's just a way to do that. It's just another. I see it as a paintbrush, right? I see it as a way for me to now like create, So I'm just learning the necessary skills to do what I love, which is to create.
And that's very interesting because even when it comes to choosing a course, you also have to go through the process of choosing an institution where you'll be offered the course of your choice, right? So I'd like to find out of all these institutions, why did you choose Malsoft Academy as the institution of your choice?
When I was looking for an institution, okay, so it's one thing that I realized was I realized this when I still had just the idea of the app and I hadn't built it yet. I was
Mm,
looking for people that could build it, and instantly I'm thinking, oh, computer science graduates, right? I met a few graduates, I met a few people with masters in computer science, and I'm like, these people definitely need to be able to like build something as simple as an app, especially like this, right? So I'd approach them and I speak to them like, hey, here's my idea, right? Do you think it's something you can do? And I was amazed to find out that they couldn't like build an app. And I'm like, you went to school for like 4 years plus, you know,
yeah.
but you can't build an app? What do you mean? Some of them can barely even just build a website. And it's like you did IT, you did computer science. So I realized that a lot of people that do get degrees in computer science or IT, it seems as if they don't really learn how to build. They just learn the syntax of these tools. They learn to understand the language, not really how to use it or how to do something useful with it, you know. So I found that with I was looking for a program or a school that teaches you how to build. They teach you actually how to use what you're learning instead of just learn. And I came across Melsoft, and it was a perfect fit for me. Like I read the whole description, I was just like, yeah, nah, this is the place. So that's why.
So, taking from what you just said now, would you then say that these days boot camps are actually the way to go? You don't have to spend
Yes.
all these years, plus minus 4 years, and then come back and you still don't know anything. You can still go through a boot camp and come back with all the necessary knowledge and the skills that you need.
Yes, 100%. Because that's what boot camps do. They scrap out all of the unnecessary stuff that you don't need to learn at all, right? That companies don't really even find valuable. It's just pretentious, in my opinion. It's just like almost wasting your time. And
Yeah.
boot camps just go to the nitty gritty. They just it's yeah, I see it almost as almost like a apprenticeship program, except for coding. Because back then, if you wanted to become an engineer but you don't want to go through the whole school route, you might go into an apprenticeship route where they just teach you the necessary skills to do your job, you know, to be
Yeah.
effective in that instead of all the unnecessary stuff. So I feel like that's what boot camps do. They just scrape out, they filter out everything that you don't need to know and teach you what you really need to know and what's really useful for you. So yeah, I'd say that, yeah.
Okay. So, for everybody that is watching right now who is most probably interested in joining the field or venturing into tech, would you mind explaining to them how your experience at Melsoft has been thus far, and also how they've helped to improve or even influence your skill as a developer?
My experience has been pretty good so far. One thing I can say, um, you get at Mousesoft that you might not get elsewhere is mentorship. Like it's one of the things that has helped me the most is actually just being around people in the tech space that are where you want to be, right? Because like with school, it's so bad, but like with school, you're around teachers, but you don't want to be a teacher, really, you know. Whereas here, like you with people that are where you want to be, and they can give you like the necessary guidance and information to be where you want to be. So the guidance here is top 10. You know, they keep sure they make sure that like you understand the work, you're up to date with everything. Um, but also, yeah, I've been learning a lot here. I'll just wait for you to sit down.
Okay, so you have to forgive me. I've been booked into a
It's okay.
different room to make
It's
our
okay.
interview a bit more private. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. Sorry to our viewers. Actually, my mentor is the one who moved me from one room to the next. But one of the main reasons why we decided to interview you, I think this is actually the favorite part of the interview, is because you developed a salon booking app, Hairline app, which I actually got a chance to download yesterday to kind of understand what it's all about. So I'd like to find out more about it and why did you choose to develop this app? I mean, there's so many apps that you could have chosen to develop. Why this one specifically?
It's a bit of a long story. I'll try to keep it as short as I can.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm a barber, so I cut hair. And it started, the whole story kind of starts in COVID, right? So COVID happened, it's locked down. My hair is growing out. I don't have, you can't go to a barber, right? So I figured, hey, it'll be cool if I just learn how to cut my own hair.
Mhm.
Right. And what that does is I'll never have to look for a barber ever again. I never have to pay a barber ever again for me or my kids in the future. I was like, it'll be a good investment, you know. So I picked my clippers and I just started experimenting. Now the beauty of it being COVID was even if I mess up, like no one was gonna see, you know.
Yeah.
So I started getting my reps in, I started learning, and by the time I was in first year university, I guess I was good enough for people to see me cut my own hair and be like, "Oh, dude, you cut hair? I've been looking for a barber. Can you cut my hair too?" I'm like, "Yeah, I don't see a reason not to." So from then, I started cutting other people's hair. I get a house call one day, and I'm on my way to a house call, and I'm speaking to an Uber driver. The driver's like, "Yo, if you're a student, what are you doing all the way here, right? Like, what are
Mhm.
you?" And I had to explain to him that, "Oh, I'm just going to cut someone's hair." So then he says, "Oh, so you like Uber for barber, right?"
Oh,
And he says it jokingly. He says it like, what's it called? But he was really excited for me, and but he didn't realize what he said, or at least when he said that, it kind of switched the light bulb on. I was like, wait a minute, actually, why isn't there like an Uber but for barbers and hair salons, right? Where you can see all the salons in your area, you can see their prices, pictures of their work, reviews, and you can book an appointment with them all through the app. That way, you get all the information that you need before just like going into a random shop, right? So I
yeah,
was like, actually, in this day and age with all of this technology, why do I still have to rely on word of mouth to find a good barber, right? Or why do I have to find? And it's the same problem with women as well. I figured. I found out you guys ask each other, "Hey, I like your nails. Where you get them done?" I like your hair. Where'd you get them done? Oh, there's this lady and stuff. But it's like with the technology we have today, I don't think we should be relying on word of mouth alone. So
yeah.
long story short, I ended up after having the idea, I wrote it down, I drafted it, planned everything, and very long story short, I ended up making it and deploying it, and here we are today.
Here we are today. So, wherever the Uber driver is, and if he still remembers you, thank you to the Uber driver because here we are today, right? So,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask you to please walk us through the process, right? The key features of the app. Because, like I said earlier on, I had a chance to download it and see how it works. But for someone who doesn't have it on their phone right now, how do they discover these salons and how does it make bookings easy for them, right? Because we all want something easy in the world of today, right? So how does all of that work? Can you please take us through that process?
Yeah, so with an app like this, you kind of catering to two people at the same time. You're catering to customers, and you're catering to businesses. So you kind of have to understand both's mindset, right?
Yeah.
On the one hand, what you're trying to help customers do is just find good salons, right, that are close to them, and you want to present the information that they need, right? So give them they need to see the price list, they need to see pictures of their work, and they need to see reviews, and make it as like easily accessible as possible. So from the user's end, we made it such that as soon as you open the app, the first thing that you see is just already a list of salons that are close to you in your area, obviously that are signed up on the app. And when you see one that picks your interest, you click it, and it'll take you to the profile where the first thing you see is their the name, the address, the price list, pictures of their work, reviews. But also, I realize it's one thing to just show businesses, to just show customers a salon and show them their price list. But if they do like them and they want to book an appointment or they want to get a ride to the what's it called, the shop, they might find it hard to actually navigate, to copy paste the link and everything. So I figured, hey, it'll be cool if we could add a feature that they just click a button and it requests an Uber ride straight to the shop. So that's one of the that's one of the cool features that we have there. Is yeah, when they open the profile, there's a button that just says order ride to the shop, and you click that, it takes you straight to the shop. It'll get you a ride that goes straight to the shop. So it just makes life easier for everyone. The booking is also pretty straightforward. You select book, you choose your dates, time, the service, and it reflects to the business side. And yeah,
Interesting. So let's say I want to make a booking, right, to go get my hair done or my nails done. Is there a way that I can read or find reviews of the place where I want to make the booking? Because obviously, I don't want to walk into a place and I'm not sure whether they're going to offer me the service that I want, right? So
Mm.
will I have a chance to go through the reviews and see what people have to say, or how does it work?
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, as soon as you open the profile, you'll see a little section that says reviews. You click that, you'll see the reviews of the salon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when you were developing the app, what tech stack did you use to build the app?
Um, I use a no-code tool called Adalo.
Okay.
It's one of the best, in my opinion. It's probably the best uh, no-code
So
software.
for someone who isn't familiar with it, how does it work? What is it all about?
The simplest way I can put it is it's kind of like a Figma. If you
Mhm.
are familiar with Figma, Figma is basically just like a drag and drop design tool. So you can design your websites or your mobile apps through Figma. You just select elements, you adjust them, be as creative as you can, but it gives you all the elements that you need to design what you do. So um, Adalo is basically just like that, except instead of just leaving you with the design, you can actually um, connect, you can give life to the design. That's the
Yeah.
best way I can put it. You can give life to the design. You can actually add actions to every button. So if a user clicks this, what happens next? It takes them here, or you can add logic to your design, and then you can export it as well. So yeah.
Okay. So, like any other developer out there, obviously you probably came across some difficulties. So, I'd like to find out what challenges did you face when you were developing this app, and how did you overcome them?
There's a lot of challenges, and I can't lie. Initially I used to be scared of like people stealing my idea, but after going through the whole process, I was like, you'd have to be a strong individual to steal my idea and make through with it, because the amount of work that goes into this is actually insane.
Yeah.
One of the biggest challenges is marketing. I can't lie to you. Like, I'd actually say building the product is probably the easiest part. I might even say for almost any business right now, really, is just building. Marketing is the hard part. Is the hard part. You have to learn to do sales. You have to learn to communicate to people. You have to learn. I had to, after launching the app. Obviously, that's when I realized that, oh, actually, now I have the product. I have to get people to use it. So I had to walk in physically, shop by shop, telling people, hey, I'm not in here for a service. I'm not here to cut my hair or get my hair done. I'm here to pitch. And people don't like salesmen. People don't like when you're trying to sell something. So it's a really tough thing to do. But at the end of the day, it's something that you have to do, right? And you can't just rely on walking in and out, because that limits you. So you also have to now try to figure out, how do you scale? How do you market yourself to people that are not in your area, to the world? How do you do that? And yeah, learning that has been quite a lot. But mostly it's really just trial and error. You have an idea. Okay, I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna say this. You say it. If it works, it works. You don't change the formula. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, then obviously you have to change the formula, and you just keep doing that until it works. Even with cold calls, having to call
Oh,
businesses and be like, yeah, that's tough. That's that's the toughest
everyone
thing.
wants to talk to you.
Yeah. So you got to do that. But if you do it well enough, they start to. I've experienced now businesses actually just recruiting each other. So they telling each other about my app, and they'll hit me up and be like, "Hey, I just signed onto your app. I'm what's it called?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Like they telling each other about my app now. So it means
Yeah.
you learn as you go. But yeah, it's all about actually just having to do it. It's just you just have to go in and do it.
So, what was the most rewarding thing about building this app? Because, I mean, not everyone in this day and age, or even in our age, can say, this is my app. I have the rights to this app. I developed this app. I built it from scratch. So, what has been the most rewarding?
Definitely seeing it actually working. Just like from like I call it like the birth of it, from seeing, because I used to actually just like draw it in pencil and everything, and then I designed it. So from actually just designing the whole thing, from having the idea actually, just from that Uber ride to seeing the actual product, for me that's probably one of the most, if not the most rewarding. That's like the first most like rewarding thing, is just to see that, oh, like I did this, I
Yeah.
had the idea and I managed to actually manifest it into real life. It actually, the second thing is seeing it work and seeing people use it, right? The first check that you get, first amount of money that you make from it is always like, hey, yo, I did that, I did that. And now it's
Yeah.
just, how can I do it again? How can I keep improving? So that's like the two most rewarding thing. One, actually building it, and then two, seeing people use it, and love your idea, your concept.
So, have you had any or heard any success stories from salon owners? Has anybody ever came back to you and said, "Hey, ever since I signed up on the app, I'm getting more bookings," or it's just has helped or improved my business? Is there any stories that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, definitely. The barber, I mentioned that like recently people have been like, salons have been recommending each other. For me that's like the biggest success story. If a customer is so satisfied with your product that they see other people and be like, yo, use this app. Hey, there's this app called Hairline. Hop onto it and everything. So, yeah, I've definitely had a couple of success stories, and that honestly just makes me the happiest. That I'd say that probably is the third thing that makes me the most happy. Not just them using it, but them being so satisfied with the product that they invite other salons onto the app, and the other salons also see the results, and they the cycle continues. So yeah, I definitely have had a few um, success stories.
Okay, so you've done pretty well for yourself so far. I believe also your app is also doing very well for itself. But I believe that you have a long-term vision, right, for the app. So what is your long-term vision for the Hairline app?
Uh First step would probably just get the whole of South Africa to use it. Just every salon in SA. Cause like I'm not big yet. Like I'm still very very small. And I'm still working on how to scale and everything. Sorry.
Yeah.
But the first step, the first major goal for me would just be to get everyone in SA to use it, and then from there, international, right? Just obviously try to get the entire world to use it. Really, really make my competitors feel it. Because obviously there are um, competitors. After doing some research, you find these things like Booksy and Fresher. My goal is to make them feel the pain. They gotta feel my presence.
Yeah, we need to. So there's probably someone out there who is watching this live stream right now, who's motivated, who's inspired by you, like myself. And what advice would you give to that person who would like to follow in your footsteps? Like if the person wants to also develop an app, it doesn't necessarily have to be an app that's similar to yours. But what advice would you give to someone?
um, I say just do it. And it sounds like such a simple, like, of course, but genuinely one of life's biggest lessons is literally on the side of the shoe, which is just do it, Nike,
Yeah.
just do it. So you have an idea. I think what stops a lot of people is you trying to make it perfect first before you execute. Let me make my, there's a level of perfection, I guess, that yes, you should achieve. You need to make sure that your idea will actually work, right? Like, so just ask the important questions. How are you going to monetize your idea, right? How are you going to make money from your idea, if that's what you want to do, which I would assume you're trying to make money from whatever it is that you're developing. But it's, how am I going to monetize? How am I going to market? And is this something that people, does this actually solve a problem that people are facing, right? Is this a solution to anyone's problem? And will they be willing to use it? And actually, what's cool. So if you just answer those three, even if you create your product and it's like very simple, it's ugly, it's hideous, it's not fully functional, right? But it does its job. I think that's a milestone that a lot of people don't reach because you have an idea and you're like, oh, this is a good idea, but you so stuck with trying to perfect it that you never actually take any initiative on actually making it happen. I think that's the biggest thing is just literally just do it. And even with, like I said, you have to do phone calls and stuff, you can spend hours trying to come up with the perfect script, trying to, but the best way to actually learn and grow is literally just call them and speak, just
Yeah,
start, just do it. So my greatest advice, have your idea, but don't just stop at the idea,
yeah.
execute, just do it.
So you're a student, right, at Melsoft Academy, just like myself, and obviously you know that it's not just about the theory. There's projects in between as well, right? And obviously these projects aren't easy because they're supposed to help us to improve. So do you think it's important as a student to work on real life projects, and how do you think they will help us in our learning journey?
Yes, it's definitely important to do real life projects because I mean, especially in the tech world, you are judged based off of the work that you do, right? It's whenever you go to an employer or anyone, they want to see the fruits of your labor. They want to see like, okay, what is it? Because we'll put it from my perspective. When I was looking for someone to develop the app, I had to literally find like, okay, you have the degree, you did computer science, but okay, can you show me what it is that you can do so that I know that like you have what I'm looking for, right? There's specific features that I want this on my app, and I want to be able to know, is that something that you can provide for me? If it is, I'll be happily willing to pay you for that, right? So you definitely need to have a portfolio that just showcases your work. Also, I said I'm a barber. It's exactly the same thing, right? You can say you cut hair, but at the end of the day, someone will be like, "Hey, let me see your work." you know,
Yeah.
you're not just gonna say, "Okay, cut my hair," just because you said you can cut hair. I need to see your work, right? So it's the same thing with tech. You can't just say, "Oh, I have this piece of paper, I have a degree." It's like, okay, cool, but what can you do, right? Because you showing me what you can do shows me one, if you're talented enough to do what I want, but it also shows me your drive, your passion. Are you someone, if I just give you a project, you just quit there, or you know, are you excited about your job and will you actually do? So it's definitely important to build a portfolio.
Okay. Emmanuel, thank you so much for your time. This was such a fun interview, to be honest with you. I got to learn so much about you in such a short period of time. And I'm truly inspired, but I don't think I'm the only one. I think there's so many people out there watching this or who will still be watching this afterwards who will be inspired and who will see more developers, more apps, from the young ones. So, to everybody who would like to download the Hairline app by Emmanuel, you can get it on the App Store as well as Google Play. And yeah, who knows? Maybe your next booking will be made via the Hairline app. And don't forget to follow and subscribe the Melsoft Academy account on YouTube so that you can still get to stream and watch some more student spotlight episode. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for watching, and most importantly to my guest. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.